go ahead and call Marshall County Fiscal Court to order. This is a special call meeting, October 25th, 2021. Item 1 is going to be the release support letter. And this is dated October 22nd. This is from Judge Jameson to my office on behalf of the Marshall County Fiscal Court. Please accept this. Oh, never mind, hang on. That is the letter. This is, you should have got the correspondence. Basically, Judge Jameson and the Fletcher Group have been working hard to put together a recovery center. This is the Re-Life Women's Recovery Center, and they're looking for contributions, support letters from businesses. And so they have asked if the fiscal court would write a letter to show support of the Relief Women's Recovery Center, and I'll just read this letter of support. If the court would entertain it. This is to Judge Jameson, founder. Dear Judge Jameson, Relief Women's Recovery Center, a letter of support on behalf of the Marshall County Fiscal Court. Please accept this letter of support to the Fletcher Group and their application for Re-Life Women's Recovery Center serving Marshall and Callaway counties. The court strongly supports this grant application and the focus on assisting those in recovery. As a business located in our area to be served by Re-Life, we see firsthand the devastation the drug epidemic has caused in all of our communities. Through this letter, we acknowledge our full support, the dedication to the goals outlined in this proposal. In the event this proposal is funded, we will support Re-Life Women's Recovery Center by forming a partnership with the Fletcher Group, Re-Life, and West Kentucky Workforce Board, providing employment opportunities to individuals who have successfully completed treatment and are ready to enter the workforce. The Marshall County Fiscal Court will work with the Fletcher Group and West Kentucky Workforce Board to establish a talent pipeline to employment. We look forward to working with these organizations and the ongoing efforts to benefit those in recovery in Marshall and Callaway counties. So that's the letter. Is there any discussion on that? We'll put this literature out on our webpage so folks can see it.
Move we approve the letter.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, other county building maintenance line. We're going to be talking a little bit more on this on Tuesday, but for right now, we've got nothing in the line. There is a quote for $1,975. It's from CC Heating and Cooling. I'm sorry, that's the actual invoice. So. It's for the animal shelter, replacing some of the equipment, refrigerant and labor. So we just need to identify where this 1975 is going to come from. I know in the past we've pulled it out of the fuel line.
Yes, the last time we talked about this, we knew that we had the KEGCO unemployment insurance premium that was going to be refunded to us. It just was a matter of getting it in the budget with 2 readings of a budget amendment. And so in the interim there, we borrowed from the fuel line. And then with this budget amendment I read last time, we put that back in the fuel line. So basically, once the budget amendment's approved the second time, the fuel line will be restored to what it was at the budget as far as its budget. So, I mean, I don't think $2,000 would hurt it. It's a very big budget line, and we usually do come in under that, which we want to do that. We don't want to under budget for fuel, that's for sure. But I mean, that would be my recommendation for a quick fix is take the 2,000 out of the fuel, and then we do need to figure out a long-term solution, because there's more, I know there's more HVACs fixing that's going to happen before the end of the fiscal year. So we will have to figure out a more permanent solution to move some monies back into the lines for both this building and other county buildings.
I move per your suggestion that we take that $2,000 from the fuel line and move it to other county buildings maintenance line to pay the CNC invoice.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, transfers.
Okay, so of course I will add the one you just approved to this list so that it's all on one piece of paper for our minutes. But the other one that's on there is from the general fund investment line to the 911 upfit line, and that's $150,354.56. And that is for the 911 center upfit. It will require a bank transfer as well. The one you just talked about will not require a bank transfer. Both the fuel and the other county building is in the general fund.
Can you update on as far as the software with the PO?
Yes. So we've kind of discussed this a little bit about where we're at here with this line. So I've sent to you all a spreadsheet, which I have updated actually since we wrote checks. So it has all the checks that have ever been written for that, for the 911 upfit out of bond money, and all the open POs. And that comes to right now $2,210,485. And so the budget for that line currently in VIP is negative $50,000, and that represents the $39,000 that we read in the first budget amendment last week, beginning balance that needs to go in. It can't actually go into that line until we've had a second reading. And then the other $11,000 is represents some POs that were already open that I made adjustments for so that additional things could be bought with that PO. So if we put those two items back in, if you were to allow the budget amendment to go through, which we don't have it back from DLG yet, hopefully we'll get it by next Tuesday and we'll have a second reading then. But if you were allowed that to go through and then you moved over 11,000 of the POs that I have adjusted for him to use, that would make that line zero. The budget for that line zero, meaning if any other purchase orders were wanting to be opened in that line, we would have to do an additional appropriation transfer first. So I know that Chris has some items that are time sensitive that he needs to go ahead and order. He can't do that without opening POs, and I've changed the system this year to not allow a PO to be opened if a line cannot accept it. If it can't handle it and not go over budget. So I know that he has expressed he needs to open. When this came up, I asked if he could go ahead and give us a remaining amount of what he would need to open, and that way we wouldn't have to do it every meeting. We wouldn't come into a situation where he has vendors on site and he needs things done and he doesn't have money in his line. So he gave me a figure of $100,000 of more additional POs that he needs to finish out his upfit, barring any unforeseen circumstances or extra labor or something like that would need to come in. So the 150 of a transfer takes care of all of those things. It makes it to where 50 of it goes towards the negative, to where starting today he can put in more purchase orders, and then the other 100 of it lets him put in $100,000 of extra purchase orders.
But then once that budget amendment is in
Yes.
place,
Once
then
it
we
has a
can
second
transfer
reading.
back
That's
the
right.
39,
Once
whatever that was.
Once the budget amendment has the second reading, and I'm allowed to now put it into the PO, into the system because it has been passed, then yes, we will have moved over 40 that we didn't have to. And I can go, if it's the wish of the court, I can go ahead on the day I know we're doing a second reading and move the 40 back to bond money. We can wait until the project is completely finished and move it back. It's whichever direction you all want to go.
Yeah.
But either way, just know at the end, What he has asked for is to be able to open $100,000 of additional POs. And that's, this plan will get him there in the end.
So really, if we did that, the 39 back, then that'll end up at, if that 100 was the end, it'd be like 2.32.
Yes, so if the
320.
100 isn't at the end and we move the 40 back, he will have either written, we will have together written checks, and/or he has open purchase orders of things he can write checks for, of a total of $2,310,500-ish dollars.
Move we approve the transfer.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So
Oh, I'm
moved.
sorry, do you
Ooh.
need to do the bank part separately? Have we been doing that? I know we've been doing appropriation transfers, and then there's also a bank portion.
Move we approve the bank transfer.
Second.
Okay. I heard a motion to adjourn, but was there,
Oh,
so we need to,
was there a second? Did you second that?
No, I didn't second the motion to adjourn, so
Guess it
withdraw
dies.
your motion.
yeah, so recall the motion,
I
okay.
withdraw the motion
Okay.
to adjourn.
Now go ahead. Sorry, Monty.
I move to make the appropriate
Bank
bank
transfer.
transfers.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.